3 weeks after his rescue, Taemin stood in the observation deck of Earth's orbital station, watching the planet below. He had seen many worlds during his travels with the Concordat, but Earth was different. The planet seemed almost violent in its diversity. Massive storms swirled over oceans. Ice caps gleamed at the poles. Deserts, forests, and mountains competed for space on the continents. The planet was chaotic, just like its people. Beautiful, isn't it? Misun, the young engineer assigned to help him, stood beside him with 2 cups of coffee. She handed him one. Taemin took it carefully. Coffee was one of the few Earth foods his biology could process, though he found it incredibly bitter. Humans seemed to drink it constantly despite its terrible taste. Your planet has too many climate zones, Taemin said. Most advanced worlds terraform their planets for efficiency, one optimal climate across the entire surface. That sounds boring, Misun replied. Where's the fun in that? If everywhere is the same, why bother traveling? For efficiency and resource distribution, Misun laughed. You sound like a textbook. Come on, I want to show you something. She led him through the station to her workshop. The space was cluttered with half-finished projects, tools, and what Taemin could only describe as organized chaos. On one wall, screens showed designs for various technologies. On another, someone had stuck pictures of cats wearing amusing hats. What are those creatures? Taemin pointed at the cats. Cats, they're pets. We keep them because they're cute and they kill mice. Misun noticed his confused expression. Mice are small animals that eat our food. Cats hunt them. It's a whole thing. Not important right now. She pulled up a holographic display showing Taemin's damaged scout ship. Well, what was left of it? The humans had recovered some pieces from space. I've been studying your ship's propulsion system, Misun said. The way you travel faster than light is incredible. You use living crystals to bend space, right? Yes, but those crystals take centuries to grow. You need specific radiation from dying stars and exact mineral compositions. It's impossible to manufacture them artificially. Taemin had explained this to several human scientists already. They all seemed disappointed by the limitation. Have you tried synthesizing them? Misun asked. Taemin blinked. What? Creating them artificially? In a lab. Speeding up the growth process. Misun pulled up another screen showing complex mathematical formulas. I've been working with Dr. Sung-ho. He's a quantum physicist, really smart guy. We think we can simulate the conditions needed to grow the crystals in weeks instead of centuries. That's impossible. The Concordat has tried for thousands of years. Yeah, but they're probably following all the rules, right? Misun grinned. We don't know the rules yet, so we can't break them. Gives us an advantage. Before Taemin could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. A voice on the intercom announced that Admiral Hyunwoo was calling an emergency meeting. All senior staff and special guests were to report immediately. The conference room was crowded. Taemin recognized Commander Jiwoo and Dr. Bora. Admiral Hyunwoo stood at the head of the table, a stern older man with gray hair and sharp eyes. Ambassador Yuna Choi, who Taemin had met briefly, sat nearby with a tablet full of data. We've detected a signal, Hyunwoo said without preamble. It's from the Galactic Concordat. They're demanding we surrender the fugitive Valorian or face consequences. Everyone looked at Taemin. He felt his heart sink. I should leave. Take a shuttle and go somewhere else. There's no reason for you to suffer because of me. Bit late for that, Jiwoo said. They know we rescued you. They've probably been watching this whole time. Leaving now won't change anything. What kind of consequences are we talking about? Asked Dr. Sung-ho, a thin man with nervous energy. Ambassador Yuna pulled up a display. According to our analysis of their message, they consider harboring a fugitive an act of war. They're giving us 72 hours to comply. Or what? Misun asked. They blow us up? Essentially, yes. Yuna looked grim. The Concordat has laws about dealing with primitive species. They can sterilize our planet and claim it was necessary to maintain galactic order. The room fell silent. Taemin felt sick. These people had saved his life and now they would die because of it. There is another option, Hyunwoo said. We fight back. Several people started talking at once. Hyunwoo raised his hand for silence. I know how this sounds. We're one planet against a galaxy, but we have advantages. We have Taemin, who knows their technology and tactics. We have our own innovations that they don't expect. And we have something they don't. What's that? Jiwoo asked. Spite. Hyunwoo smiled slightly. Humans don't like being told what to do. We especially don't like threats. I say we tell the Concordat exactly what they can do with their demands. That's suicide, said one of the military officers. Maybe, Yunwu agreed. But at least we'll go down fighting. And who knows? We might surprise them. Over the next 3 days, Earth prepared for war. Taemin worked with Dr. Sung-ho and Mi-sun, teaching them everything he knew about Concordat technology. The humans absorbed information like sponges, asking questions Taemin had never considered. Why do your ships always attack from the front? Mi-sun asked during one session. Because that's where the weapons are positioned. But space has no up or down. Why not attack from above or below? Because that's not how space combat works. Says who? Taemin realized he didn't have a good answer. The Concordat fought certain ways because they had always fought that way. Tradition and protocol governed everything. The humans didn't care about tradition. They only cared about what worked. Dr. Sung-ho made breakthrough after breakthrough with the phase crystal technology. He broke rules Taemin didn't even know could be broken. He used quantum entanglement in ways that should have been impossible. He created energy fields that violated known physics. How are you doing this? Taemin asked after watching Sung-ho successfully synthesize a small phase crystal. I'm not sure, Sung-ho admitted. I just keep trying things until something works. Scientific method plus stubbornness. On the final day before the deadline, Mi-sun took Taemin back to the observation deck. Earth hung below them, beautiful and chaotic as ever. Are you scared? Taemin asked. Terrified, Mi-sun admitted, but also excited. We're about to meet aliens for real. Well, more aliens. You're great, but you're just one person. Tomorrow we'll see what the rest of the galaxy looks like. They're going to try to kill you. Yeah, but they might not succeed. And if they do, at least we went out doing the right thing. We saved you because it was right, not because it was safe. That matters. Taemin looked at this young human who had become his friend. She was barely an adult by Valorian standards, yet she faced the possibility of death with courage and dark humor. She had helped him understand her species better than any amount of study could have. Thank you, Taemin said quietly. For what? For showing me what the Concordat never could. That kindness matters more than rules. That chaos can be beautiful. That being imperfect is better than being pure. Mi-sun smiled and clinked her coffee cup against his. Welcome to humanity, Taemin. We're a mess, but we're a good mess. Below them, Earth continued its chaotic spin through space, unaware that tomorrow it would either stand against the galaxy or fall into darkness. But its people were ready. They had been warned, they had been threatened, and they had made their choice. They would stand with the exile. They would fight for what was right. And if the galaxy wanted to test humanity's resolve, they were about to get a very surprising answer. 6 months after the battle, Taemin stood on Earth looking up at the night sky. The stars had changed for him. They no longer represented the cold perfection of the Concordat. Now they represented possibility. Beside him, Mi-sun adjusted the telescope. They were at an observatory in the mountains, far from the cities. The air was cold and clear, perfect for stargazing. There, Mi-sun pointed. That bright one. That's the first Free Coalition station. 17 different species working together, and humans built it. Taemin smiled. The Free Coalition had formed in the aftermath of Earth's victory. Word of humanity's stand had spread throughout the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Species that had been quarantined, judged impure, or rejected by the Concordat had reached out to Earth. They wanted to join this strange new alliance where kindness mattered more than genetic purity. The Concordat itself had fractured. Some species, horrified by what had happened at Earth, had left the Council. Others had become even more rigid, insisting that humanity was a threat that needed to be contained. Elder Korvan, a council member who had secretly opposed the purity doctrine for years, had defected to Earth and brought valuable information with him. How many ships arriving today? Taemin asked. 12, Mi-sun replied. 3 from the Valorian diaspora. Your people are coming to you. Taemin felt his heart speed up. After he had been branded a fugitive, many Valorians had questioned the Concordat's judgment. When the truth about their artificial origins spread, thousands had left Concordat space. They were outcasts now, just like Taemin, but they were free. Yijin's ship is among them, Mi-sun added gently. Taemin had known this day was coming. His former partner had sent messages over the past months explaining her journey. She had stayed with the Concordat after his escape, believing it was the right thing to do. But watching Earth's defense, seeing how humans fought for principle rather than law, had changed her. She had realized that sometimes loyalty to what's right matters more than loyalty to authority. "Are you nervous?" Mi-sun asked. "Yes. I don't know if I can forgive her for not leaving with me." "That's fair. But people change. She spent 6 months traveling here to apologize. That's got to count for something." The communication device on Taemin's wrist chimed. It was Captain Jin Ho, commander of the rebuilt Indomitable Spirit. The new vessel was named Indomitable Spirit II, a memorial to Commander Jiwoo's sacrifice. "Taemin, we need you at the spaceport," Jin Ho said. "Ambassador Yuna is negotiating with a new species that wants to join the coalition. They're called the Marathi. They've been quarantined for 200 years because their homeworld has the wrong kind of star." "The wrong kind of star?" Taemin shook his head. "The Concordate's laws become more ridiculous the more I learn about them." "Can you come talk to them?" "They're scared of humans. They've heard stories about our battle with Dalric. They think we might be violent. I'll be there in an hour." Taemin and Mi-sun rode down from the mountains in a small transport. Along the way, they passed through a human city. Taemin still marveled at human urban planning, or the lack of it. Buildings of different styles stood next to each other. Ancient structures existed beside modern towers. Parks interrupted commercial districts seemingly at random. It was chaos, but it worked. At the spaceport, Ambassador Yuna waited with the Marathi delegation. The aliens were small, barely reaching Taemin's chest, with golden fur and large expressive eyes. They looked terrified. "Taemin," Yuna said with relief, "please explain to our guests that humans aren't going to hurt them." Taemin spoke to the Marathi in their own language, something he had learned from the Coalition database. "Welcome to Earth. I understand you're concerned about human intentions." The lead Marathi, whose name translated roughly as Bright Leaf, nodded quickly. "We heard that humans destroyed a Concordate fleet. We heard they fight like demons and show no mercy." "That's partially true," Taemin admitted. "Humans fight fiercely when defending what they believe in. But they also saved my life when they had no reason to. They risked everything to help a stranger. The choice is yours, but I can tell you that humans are the most genuinely kind species I've ever met." Brightleaf studied Taemin carefully. "You're Valorian. Your species was known for following Concordate law perfectly, yet you stand with humans. Why?" "Because they showed me that perfection is overrated. That chaos can be beautiful. That making mistakes while trying to do good is better than following rules that cause harm." Taemin smiled. "The Concordate judged me and found me wanting. Humans looked at me and found me worth saving. I know which judgment I trust." The Marathi delegation conferred among themselves. Finally, Brightleaf turned back to the humans. "We would like to join your coalition, but we have little to offer. Our technology is limited, our resources few. What do you want in exchange for protection?" Ambassador Yuna looked confused. "Exchange? We don't want anything. You're welcome here because you need help. That's reason enough. But that's not how galactic politics works." "Maybe not," Yuna agreed. "But that's how we work. Welcome to the coalition." Later that evening, Taemin waited at a different landing pad. The ship carrying Valorian refugees was arriving, and he knew Hyejin was aboard. Mi-sun stood beside him for moral support, though she promised to leave if he wanted to talk privately. The ship landed smoothly. The ramp extended. Valorian refugees began emerging, their crystalline skin reflecting the setting sun. They looked tired but hopeful. Many of them recognized Taemin and called out in greeting. Then Hyejin appeared. She looked different. Thinner, perhaps, and her skin had lost some of its luster. But her eyes were the same, that clear blue he remembered. She walked down the ramp slowly, stopping a few meters from Taemin. "Hello," she said quietly. "Hello?" An awkward silence stretched between them. Mi-sun quietly moved away, giving them space. "I'm sorry," Hyejin said finally. "I should have left with you. I should have believed in you rather than the council." "I was wrong. You were scared," Taemin replied. "I understand that. The Concordate was all we knew. Questioning it felt like questioning reality itself. But you did it anyway. You were braver than me." Tears formed in Hyejin's eyes. "I watched the battle from a Concordate station. I watched Commander Jiwoo sacrifice herself. I watched humans fight impossible odds because they believed saving you was the right thing to do, and I realized I had been on the wrong side." "What do you want from me?" Taemin asked. "Nothing. Just forgiveness eventually. I don't expect us to go back to how things were. I just wanted you to know that you were right. About everything." Taemin looked at this woman who had been his partner, his friend, his love. She had hurt him deeply by not believing in him, but she had also traveled 6 months across hostile space to apologize. She had given up everything she knew to stand with the outcasts. "I can't forgive you yet," Taemin said honestly, "but I'm willing to try. Stay here, work with the coalition. Show me that you've really changed. Maybe eventually we can be friends again." Heejin nodded, relief visible on her face. "That's more than I deserve. Thank you." As the sun set over Earth, more ships arrived carrying more refugees, more outcasts, more beings the galaxy had rejected. The spaceport filled with dozens of species, all coming to the one place that had told the Concordate number Dr. Sung-ho and his team had made breakthrough after breakthrough. Human phase technology was advancing rapidly. Soon Earth would be able to travel anywhere in the galaxy. The Concordate couldn't isolate them anymore. Captain Jin-ho prepared the indomitable Spirit 2 for its first deep space mission. They would explore the regions of space the Concordate had declared forbidden, looking for more species that needed help. Ambassador Yuna worked 18-hour days establishing treaties and agreements. The Free Coalition was growing faster than anyone expected. Every species brought new ideas, new perspectives, new possibilities, and Taemin worked to help his people adjust to their new freedom. The Valorians had lived under Concordate law for so long that many didn't know how to live without it. Taemin taught them what humans had taught him, that making mistakes was fine, that chaos could be beautiful, that kindness mattered more than rules. One evening, Misun found him in his quarters staring at his research data, the same data that had made him a fugitive. "Still thinking about the architects?" she asked. "Always," Taemin admitted. "They gave my people so much. I wish I could thank them." "Maybe you can," Misun said. "We've been picking up strange signals from deep space. Really deep, like center of the galaxy deep. They might be coming from the architects. Jin-ho is planning an expedition. Want to come?" Taemin looked at his friend. 6 months ago he had been alone, dying in space, convinced he would never see another living being. Now he was surrounded by friends, by hope, by possibility. "Yes," he said, "I want to come." Outside, Earth continued its chaotic spin through space. The planet that had been judged dangerous and primitive was now the heart of a new galactic coalition. Its people, those strange, chaotic humans, were spreading their simple philosophy throughout the stars. Everyone deserves a chance. No one should be judged by their origins. Kindness matters more than rules. Taemin had been banished by a galaxy that valued perfection, truth. The laboratory was quiet except for the soft hum of the data processor. Taemin stared at the screen, his crystalline hands trembling slightly as he read the results for the 3rd time. The numbers didn't lie. His entire world was about to change, and not in a good way. He had spent 5 years collecting genetic samples from ancient Valorian sites, 5 years of careful digging, analyzing, and comparing. What he found should have been impossible. The genetic markers in the oldest samples didn't match the evolutionary path that every Valorian child learned in school. Someone had changed them. Someone had altered his species at the genetic level thousands of years ago. The Valorians hadn't evolved naturally. They had been created. Taemin heard footsteps behind him. He quickly closed the data file, but it was too late. Hae-jin stood in the doorway, her pale blue skin catching the light from the hallway. She had been his research partner for 3 years. They had planned to bond as life partners after this project ended. "You found something," she said. It wasn't a question. She knew him too well. Taemin nodded slowly. "We need to talk. Somewhere private." They went to the observation deck. Through the massive window, Taemin could see the rings of the research station circling the gas giant below. 17 different species worked on this station, all following the laws of the Galactic Concordate, all believing they were pure, natural, evolved species worthy of standing among the stars. "Our people were created," Taemin said quietly. "We didn't evolve on our own. An ancient civilization called the Architects changed us. They took primitive creatures and made them into what we are now." Heejin's face went pale, almost white. "That's impossible. The Concordate tested our genetic history when we joined. They approved us. They made a mistake, or the Architects hid their work very well." Taemin pulled out a data chip. "It's all here. The proof is undeniable." "Then we destroy it," Heejin said immediately. "We delete everything and never speak of this again." Taemin stepped back. "What?" "No, our people deserve to know the truth. The truth will get us all killed." Heejin's voice rose, echoing in the empty observation deck. You know the purity doctrine. Any species with corrupted origins must be removed from the Concordat. That means quarantine at best, extinction at worst. Do you want to be responsible for the death of billions? I want our people to know who they really are, Timon said. We're not less than other species just because we were helped along the way. If anything, we're special. The architects chose us for a reason. The council won't see it that way. Hyojin reached for the data chip, but Taimin pulled his hand back. Please, Taemin. I love you. I don't want to lose you. Give me the chip and we can forget this ever happened. I can't do that. Heejin's expression hardened. Then I have to report this. It's my duty as a citizen of the Concordat. You would turn me in? Taemin felt his heart breaking. After everything we've been through together? I'm trying to save you. If you come forward now, show remorse, destroy the data, maybe the council will be merciful. Tears formed in Heejin's eyes, crystalline droplets that caught the light. But if you keep this secret, if you try to spread this information, they'll kill you. And then they'll come for our entire species. So I should let lies continue? Let our people believe in a false history? Yes, Heejin grabbed his arm. Sometimes lies are kinder than truth. Sometimes survival matters more than knowledge. Please, Taemin. For me. For us. For our future children who won't exist if you do this. Taemin looked at the woman he loved. He had known her since they were students together. They had laughed, worked, and dreamed together. He had imagined growing old with her, raising children, watching the stars together in their final years. But he couldn't give her what she wanted. I'm sorry, he said, pulling away from her grip. I have to do this. He ran. His feet pounded on the metal floor as alarms began to sound behind him. Heejin must have triggered the emergency signal. Security would be coming. He had minutes at best. Taemin reached the docking bay and found his small scout ship where he had left it. The vessel was old, barely capable of faster-than-light travel, but it was registered in his name. He threw himself into the pilot's seat and started the emergency launch sequence. The bay doors were closing. Someone was trying to trap him. Taemin pushed the engines to maximum and shot through the narrowing gap with meters to spare. Alarms screamed in his cockpit as the ship's systems complained about the abuse. Behind him, the research station grew smaller. Ahead, the vast emptiness of space stretched out in all directions. Taemin engaged the faster-than-light drive, but before he could jump, weapons fire struck his shields. A Concordat patrol ship had been nearby. This is Patrol Vessel 97 to Scout Ship Wanderer. You are under arrest for crimes against the Concordat. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Taemin didn't respond. He pushed more power to the engines, trying to build up enough energy to jump. The patrol ship fired again. This time, the blast penetrated his shields and damaged the rear stabilizers. Warning lights flashed across every screen. This is your final warning. Surrender now or we will destroy you. The jump drive finally reached minimum charge. Taemin engaged it, but the damaged stabilizers caused problems. Instead of jumping to his planned destination, the ship lurched randomly through space. The universe became a blur of colors and impossible geometry as the ship tumbled through dimensions it wasn't designed to handle. When the ship finally dropped back into normal space, Taemin checked his location. His blood ran cold. He had traveled far beyond Concordat space, far beyond any mapped territory. He was in the Forbidden Zone, the region of space that every species was warned to avoid. He was near a small yellow star. According to his damaged sensors, the system contained one planet with intelligent life. A young species. A dangerous species. The species that every parent used to frighten their children into behaving. Humans, Taemin tried to restart the faster-than-light drive, but it was dead. Life support was failing. His ship was dying around him, and he was trapped in the one place in the galaxy where no rescue would come. As consciousness faded, Taemin's last thought was bitter irony. He had tried to save his people by revealing the truth. Instead, he would die alone in the darkness. And his people would never know what the architects had given them. The ship drifted on, a tiny speck of metal in the vast emptiness, heading deeper into the solar system and toward the blue-green world that orbited the yellow star. The Concordat fleet arrived exactly on schedule. 300 ships emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system, a display of power meant to intimidate. Each vessel was larger than anything humanity had ever built. Their weapons could crack planets. Their shields could withstand nuclear weapons. They represented 12 different species, all united under concordate law. Executor Dalric commanded the fleet from his flagship. He was a member of the Korthan species, tall and covered in silver scales that marked his high rank. He had fought in 17 compliance actions, forcing primitive species to follow concordate rules. This would be his 18th and probably the easiest. Humans were young, barely past their tribal phase. They had no allies, no advanced weapons, no experience with space warfare. This would be over quickly. Broadcast the final demand, Dalric ordered. Throughout Earth's solar system, every receiver picked up the message. Dalric's face appeared on screens, his expression stern and unyielding. People of Earth, you have violated concordate law by harboring the fugitive known as Taimin. You have 24 hours to surrender him for judgment. If you refuse, we will sterilize your world as required by law. This is your final warning. On Earth's orbital command station, Admiral Hyun-woo watched the message with his senior staff. Taimin stood nearby, his crystalline skin pale with fear. They're not bluffing, Taimin said quietly. Dalric is known for following orders exactly. He will destroy Earth if you don't give me up. Good to know, Hyun-woo replied. He opened a channel to broadcast to the concordate fleet. This is Admiral Hyun-woo of the United Earth Defense Force. We have received your demand. Here is our response. What happened next surprised everyone, including Hyun-woo's own staff. Instead of diplomatic language or military posturing, Hyun-woo broadcast something completely different. He showed them Earth's art, music from every culture and time period, paintings and sculptures, literature and poetry, scientific discoveries, medical breakthroughs, acts of courage and compassion throughout human history. He showed them crying children being comforted by strangers. He showed them people of different backgrounds working together. He showed them humans reaching for the stars despite having every reason to stay home where it was safe. This is humanity, Hyun-woo said. We are young, we are chaotic, and we make mistakes. But we also believe that every person deserves a chance, that no one should be judged by their origins. That showing kindness to strangers matters more than following unjust rules. So here is our answer to your demand. No, we will not surrender Taimin. If you want him, you'll have to go through us. The broadcast ended. On the concordate flagship, Executor Dalric stared at the screen in disbelief. In his 17 previous compliance actions, no species had ever refused. They had all begged or tried to negotiate. None had ever told him no. They're insane, his tactical officer said. They have 50 capital ships against our 300. This isn't a battle, it's suicide. Then we'll grant them their wish, Dalric said coldly. All ships advance. Destroy any vessel that resists. Prepare planet-killing weapons. The concordate fleet moved forward. Behind Earth, humanity's tiny fleet took position. 50 capital ships, 100 support vessels, and countless smaller craft. It looked pathetic compared to the alien armada. But Taimin noticed something odd. The human ships weren't positioning themselves the way military doctrine taught. They were scattered, seemingly random. There was no clear formation, no obvious strategy. What are they doing? Taimin asked. Commander Ji-woo, who stood beside Hyun-woo, smiled. Adapting. The battle began when the first concordate ships entered weapons range. They fired their main cannons, expecting to destroy the human vessels quickly. But the human ships moved in ways concordate computers couldn't predict. They spun, dodged, and changed direction randomly. The shots that should have been easy hits missed by meters. They're not following standard evasion patterns, Dalric's tactical officer reported. Their movements are completely random. Our targeting systems can't compensate. Then switch to manual targeting, Dalric ordered, and increase firing rate. Random dodging won't help when space is filled with energy blasts. The concordate fleet adjusted, filling space with weapons fire. Some shots connected, damaging human shields and hulls. But humanity fought back with unexpected ferocity. Pilot Do-Yun led a squadron of fighters equipped with experimental phase technology. They flickered in and out of normal space, passing through concordate shields like ghosts and striking at vulnerable points. His attacks weren't elegant or precise, but they were effective. Concordate ships that should have been invulnerable found their shield generators exploding from internal damage. How are they doing that? Dalric demanded. Their technology shouldn't be capable of phase shifting. They're using unstable quantum fields, his science officer reported. It's incredibly dangerous and shouldn't work, but somehow they're maintaining coherence long enough to pass through our shields. Tactical Officer Jae-hee coordinated Earth's defensive grids. She watched the battle unfold on multiple screens, processing information faster than seemed human. Every time a Concordate ship fired, her systems learned. Every attack pattern was analyzed. Within minutes, she was predicting enemy movements and adjusting Earth's defenses accordingly. The battle intensified. Concordate ships began to explode as human weapons found weak points. Human ships died too, their crews sacrificing themselves to protect Earth. Commander Jiwoo watched friends and colleagues die, but she kept fighting, coordinating the defense with cold efficiency. Executor Dalric realized with growing concern that this battle wasn't going as planned. Humans were supposed to be primitive. They weren't supposed to fight like demons. They weren't supposed to win. Pull back to Formation 7, Dalric ordered. We need to regroup, but humanity didn't give them time. The human fleet pressed their advantage, attacking with everything they had. They used tactics no civilized species would consider. Ships deliberately rammed into Concordate vessels, sacrificing themselves to take out larger targets. Others overloaded their reactors and turned themselves into bombs. Dalric watched in horror as his carefully organized fleet fell into disarray. The humans weren't just fighting to survive. They were fighting to win. Target Earth directly, Dalric ordered. Forget the fleet. If we destroy their world, they'll have to surrender. The order went out. Concordate ships broke off from the main battle and headed for Earth. Their planet-killer weapons began charging. In 10 minutes, they would fire and Earth would die. Commander Jiwoo saw what was happening. They're targeting the planet. We need to stop them. We can't reach them in time, Jae-hee reported. They'll fire before we get there. Then we need to get creative. Jiwoo looked at her tactical display. Her ship, the Indomitable Spirit, was the largest vessel in Earth's fleet. It was also the slowest, designed for defense rather than speed. But it was fast enough for what she needed to do. All crew, this is Commander Jiwoo. Abandon ship. Evacuate to support vessels immediately. That's an order. Commander, what are you doing? Hyunwoo's voice came over the comm. Buying time. Jiwoo set the ship's controls for maximum speed and locked the navigation on the Concordate flagship. Tell Taemin I'm glad we saved him. Tell Earth I'm proud to serve. She launched every escape pod, making sure her crew survived. Then she sat alone on the bridge of her dying ship and pushed the engines to maximum. The Indomitable Spirit accelerated toward the Concordate flagship like a missile. Dalric saw it coming but couldn't change course fast enough. His ship was too large, too slow, designed for power rather than maneuverability. The human ship struck the Concordate flagship dead center. The explosion lit up space like a newborn star. Dalric's ship broke apart, taking with it the coordinated command of the entire Concordate fleet. Ships lost communication with each other. Orders became confused. The perfect military formation dissolved into chaos. At that exact moment, Dr. Sung-ho activated his secret weapon. He had been working on it since the battle began, using Taemin's knowledge and human innovation. It was a phase pulse, massive and uncontrolled, that swept through the solar system. Every Concordate ship stopped. Their engines died. Their weapons went offline. Their shields collapsed. Sung-ho's pulse had temporarily disabled every piece of phase technology in the system. The Concordate fleet was paralyzed. Human ships surrounded them. Damaged, outnumbered, but victorious. On Earth's command station, Admiral Hyunwoo opened a channel to the disabled fleet. This is Admiral Hyunwoo. Your fleet is disabled and surrounded. You came to judge us. Instead, we've judged you. Lower your weapons and prepare to negotiate, or we will destroy every ship in this system. The silence from the Concordate fleet spoke volumes. Commander Jiwoo Park stood on the bridge of the Indomitable Spirit, staring at the object on the main screen. The alien vessel was small, barely the size of a shuttle, and it was falling apart. Pieces of metal drifted away from the hull as internal fires burned through the ship's structure. How long until it enters Earth's atmosphere? Jiwoo asked. 16 hours, replied her tactical officer. But it won't survive that long. Life support is already failing. If there's anyone alive in there, they'll be dead within 3 hours. Jiwoo studied the vessel carefully. It was the first alien ship anyone had ever seen this close to Earth. For decades, humans had picked up signals from deep space, proof that other intelligent life existed. But the galaxy had made it clear that humans were not welcome. Every attempt at contact had been met with warnings to stay away, to remain in their own system, to not contaminate the civilized species with human chaos. Now one of those civilized species was dying right in front of her. "Orders, Commander?" her second officer asked. "We could destroy the ship now. No one would know. The Council certainly won't come looking for it." Jiwoo knew he was right. The smart thing to do was blow up the ship and pretend they never saw it. Helping this alien could bring the wrath of the entire galaxy down on Earth. Humanity was young, isolated, and vulnerable. Making enemies of advanced alien civilizations was foolish, but watching someone die when she could help felt wrong. "Prepare a rescue shuttle," Jiwoo ordered. "I'm going after them." "Commander, that's against regulations. We should contact Earth Defense Command first. By the time we get approval, whoever is in that ship will be dead. I'll take responsibility." Jiwoo headed for the shuttle bay. "You have command of the spirit. If this goes wrong, tell Admiral Hyunwoo I'm sorry." The rescue shuttle was small and fast. Jiwoo piloted it herself, bringing along only Dr. Bora Kim, the ship's xenobiologist, and 2 medical technicians. As they approached the alien vessel, Bora scanned it constantly. "I'm picking up one life sign," Bora said. "Faint, but there. The atmosphere inside has turned toxic. Whatever species this is, they can't breathe their own air anymore. Can we dock with them?" "No, their airlock is damaged. We'll have to cut our way in." Jiwoo maneuvered the shuttle close to the alien ship. This was the dangerous part. The vessel was tumbling slowly and pieces continued to break off. One wrong move and both ships could be destroyed. She matched rotation with the alien craft and held position. "Bora, you're up." Dr. Bora Kim had spent her career dreaming of this moment, first contact with an alien species. She had imagined it happening through radio signals and careful diplomacy, not cutting through a dying ship with a plasma torch while racing against time. The hull was made of a strange alloy that resisted the torch. Precious minutes ticked away as Bora worked. Finally, the metal gave way and they pulled open a hole large enough to enter. Inside, the ship was a nightmare. Smoke filled the corridors. Sparks flew from broken systems. The artificial gravity was failing, making everything float at odd angles. Bora and the medical technicians pushed through the chaos, following their life sign detector. They found the alien in what looked like a small sleeping area. The creature was humanoid with pale skin that seemed to shimmer like crystal. It wore a simple jumpsuit and was unconscious, strapped to a bunk that had kept it from floating around during the chaos. "He's dying," one of the medical technicians said after a quick scan. "Internal injuries, toxic exposure, and something wrong with his cellular structure. It's like his cells are shutting down." "Get him to the shuttle," Bora ordered. "We'll figure out the details later." They cut the alien free and carried him through the broken ship. Behind them, another section collapsed. The vessel was in its final moments. They reached the shuttle just as a massive explosion tore through the alien ship's engine core. Jiwoo didn't wait. She gunned the engines and pulled away, dodging debris as the alien ship disintegrated behind them. By the time they were clear, nothing remained but scattered pieces of metal floating in the void. Back aboard the indomitable Spirit, Bora worked frantically in the medical bay. The alien's biology was unlike anything in Earth's databases. His blood was based on copper instead of iron, giving it a blue color. His organs were arranged differently than human organs. His cellular structure was incredibly complex, almost too perfect. "It's like he was designed," Bora muttered, running another scan. "No species evolves this efficiently. There's no redundancy, no leftover evolutionary traits. Every part of his biology serves a specific purpose." Hours passed. Bora tried treatment after treatment, each one a guess based on incomplete information. The alien's condition worsened. His strange crystalline skin began to crack and flake away. His breathing became shallow. Then Bora had an idea. It was crazy, based more on intuition than science. The alien's cells seemed to be missing something, like they were waiting for a specific signal to activate healing. Instead of treating him like a human, she needed to treat him like a sophisticated machine that needed the right input. She created a compound based on the chemical traces in his blood and injected it directly into his heart. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the alien's eyes opened. They were beautiful, like looking into clear blue water. The alien stared at Bora with confusion and fear. He tried to speak, but only strange sounds came out. "Easy," Bora said softly. "You're safe. You're on a human ship. We rescued you." The alien clearly didn't understand. He tried to sit up, but Bora gently pushed him back down. She pointed to herself. "Bora, human." Then she pointed to him and raised her eyebrows questioningly. The alien understood. Taman, he said, his voice rough. Valorian. Over the next several hours, Bora and her team worked with Taimin to establish basic communication. They connected translation devices and slowly built a shared vocabulary. Taman was weak but stable. His crystalline skin was regenerating, creating fascinating patterns that Bora cataloged carefully. When Taimin was strong enough to hold a full conversation, Commander Jiwoo came to speak with him. She brought tea, a human gesture of hospitality, though she had no idea if Taimin could drink it. "Why did you help me?" Taimin asked through the translator. "Your species is forbidden. The Council has declared humans dangerous. You should have let me die." "That's not who we are," Jiwoo said simply. "You needed help, we helped. It's that simple." Nothing is ever simple with the Concordat. Taimin's expression was sad. "They will come for me. When they find out you helped me, they will punish you. They might destroy your entire world." Jiwoo sipped her tea calmly. "Then we'll deal with that when it happens. For now, you're alive and safe. That's what matters." Taimin stared at her in disbelief. This human had risked everything to save a complete stranger from a species that considered humans dangerous. She had violated galactic law without hesitation. And now she sat drinking tea like saving aliens was something she did every day. "You are all insane," Taimin said. Jiwoo smiled. "Yeah, we get that a lot. Welcome to Earth."